everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Number One Comics Podcast. I'm your host, Jonah. With me is Bill. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Jonah.
Today we are talking about 2008's DC weekly title, Trinity. Published by DC Comics, the cover date here was June 2008. Cover price was $2.99. Now, this is a book that's got two different stories. You've got story number one, which is written by Kurt Busiek, and you've also got Mark Bagley on the art for that. There's a second story, which features Kurt on the part of the plotting. You've got Fabian Nicieza on the actual scripting and the dialogue, and then you've got Scott McDaniel, among some others, as the artists. This issue, along with every other issue of this series, featured two stories. You've got the main story, and then you've got the backup story. Now, similar to DC's 52 and Countdown, this was a weekly series that ran for 52 issues over the course of a year. Did you read 52 or Countdown or this back in the day?
No.
Okay. I did read 52, and I loved it. It focused on some of the lesser known characters, like, it had like The Question, it had Black Adam at the time, who I wasn't really familiar with other than like some Justice Society or some JSA appearances, Booster Gold, that sort of thing. It kind of took place in like this world without the major three. Okay. Like there was no Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman at the time. They were gone or missing, whatever. So they weren't there. So it's kind of like a world without those big three, what that was like. And this was all fallout from the Infinite Crisis event, essentially. Now, Countdown, on the other hand, I bought all of those ones as well and did not enjoy it. And in fact, I've since gotten rid of those from the collection because I didn't like it that much. So when this came out, I collected all 52 issues. But full disclosure, it was not until this review that I actually even cracked this open and read it. Oh, wow. And I'm still in the process. I think I've read like the first 7 or 8 at this point. Yeah. So I'm still in the process of reading it. But yeah, I bought this whole series and never even once looked at it. Because back in the 2000s, I was not really a big DC guy. Yeah. Just over this last year, have I gone back and started buying a shitload of like 2000s DC comics. And one of the reasons why is because you can find them like 50 cents to $1. Like they're so cheap, and you can collect an entire run of something relatively cheaply, which is nice. I think it's just I'm a sucker for the weekly books. And because of 52 and my excitement over Countdown, which until it sucked, I was picking this up every week. Yeah. Now, so far, it's apparent, based on what I've read, that this series is largely self-contained to whatever else may have been going on in the DC universe at that time, which I like. I like a good self-contained story like that. And like I said, when I wasn't reading much DC, so I would have probably been lost if this was way too expansive. Unlike the 52 series, as the name implies, this book focuses on the big three: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I know we've talked briefly or a little bit about those characters, but what's your just general take on those three together?
I would say they're pretty much like the foundation of a lot of DC's comics. Especially ones where you're featuring like a big ensemble of heroes and stuff like that. It's kind of like how Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor are in like the Avengers movies. Yeah. Right. Like most major stories revolve around these three people.
I've always found them to be the bread and butter of DC's universe. And by that, I mean fucking boring. Like, really? I've never been... I like Batman. Who doesn't like Batman? But I don't read Batman comics necessarily. I read Absolute Batman because we talked about that. Yeah. And that comic's badass. There's a new Batman coming out. I'm probably going to read that. But I don't read or collect Batman comics to this day. I've got some trades here and there. Superman, I've never really been a big Superman fan. I'm getting there with a lot more that I'm seeing and reading. Yeah. So I'm getting there, but up to this point, I was never a big Superman fan. And Wonder Woman, same. Never really a big Wonder Woman fan. I like her in Justice League Dark. We've talked about that. I like her in Absolute Wonder Woman, but I don't own any Wonder Woman comics.
Right.
Other than that. Right. So don't really, I mean, I know the characters, but I have not read a lot of the characters necessarily. Let's go ahead and talk about the issue. On the cover, we've got a cool overlay of the three main characters' logos. They're kind of meshed together. And then what's weird, though, is the actual title is very small at the top. So you got the logos is kind of taking up all the space. The title's very small. We've got an image of Superman. He's standing stoically with his arms crossed. The cover to issue 2 actually features Batman. The cover to issue 3 features Wonder Woman. And then when you line them up, they kind of make a single image. And this was a recurring theme throughout throughout really the entire year. So every 3 issues kind of made a different image, so to speak. Now, inside the issue, we open up in outer space. It's a solar system, there's planets, and we see this burning form of cosmic energy tearing its way through the vastness of space. This massive, burning universal presence, it takes the form of a human face, and it yells out to be let out. It's like, let me out. We then cut to Earth, and we're at the Keystone Coffee Pier, to be specific. Clark Kent, he's making his way through a murmuring of customers towards the end of a pier where Bruce Wayne has rented out the entire section to himself so that there's no one around, and he's waiting for Clark to get there. Clark and Bruce greet each other. A waitress steps over to get their order. Bruce orders a half-calf, half-decaf, pea-berry, non-fat latte, steamed to 145 degrees, not too much foam, light cinnamon, and a shot of butterscotch. Now, after reading this, I ordered the same thing from Starbucks, but they were out of pea-berry, it was only steamed to 140 degrees, and they added too much foam. I was not happy.
Hate when that happens.
Clark orders just a juice. I don't know what kind of juice, because he just says juice. So he orders a juice. And he then hems and haws over whether he wants pancakes or waffles. I think Superman could probably devour both, but that's just me. Then Diana Prince arrives. When I was reading the notes, I almost said Princess Diana, but I was like, no, that's somebody different.
Yeah.
Diana Prince arrives, and she greets the other two. Diana compares Bruce and Clark in their secret identities as boys and their games, which, coincidentally, that's the name of this issue. It's not long before Bruce wants to get down to business and discuss the dreams. Clark questions if they were actually dreams. And he explains that in his, he saw space, within it a face, an enraged cosmic extraterrestrial intelligence. He's essentially describing the very thing we saw at the opening of the issue. Diana, she describes that she saw an ancient angry god chained to a rock, straining to be free. And then Bruce, he saw a criminal in the shadows, imprisoned but intent on escape. All 3 dreams thematically the same, but different. Clark hears radio chatter from the kitchen of the coffee shop reporting a metahuman robbery taking place, and the trio is about to leap into action when Clark then hears that it's being taken care of. At this point, we cut to a splash page of Clayface being handled by the Flash family, while Iris West recovers the loot that Clayface had stolen. Wally greets the Trinity. He then pauses to the convo to help his son Jai bag up Clayface after the crook gets busted into 100 pieces. As the police haul off garbage bags of Clayface, Wally joins the other 3 on the pier to chat. They ask Wally about his dreams, but it was nothing like the other 3. Bruce states he contacted others already, and no one has had those same dreams. Clark is confident it was more of a form of telepathic contact as opposed to a dream, and the being in the dream is real. So the question there is, why is it just the 3 of them? Now later, Clark as Superman is returning to Metropolis when he hears something from above him. Batman is in the Batwing returning to Gotham, and he also hears a voice. Then his cockpit begins to fill with smoke and leaves. In Washington, D.C., Diana also hears the voice calling to be let out. Then something fires on her from above, and she calls out to whoever it is to show themselves. Back in Metropolis, the voice has stopped and suddenly as it began. But Superman does hear shouts and screams, breaking of glass, concrete, and steel. He looks up as a building above him explodes and is raining fire and debris down on him, and with that, the story there is to be continued. As I'd mentioned, aside from the main story, there is also a backup. In this backup, we see Morgane Le Fay in the ruins of Castle Brannock. Her meditation is interrupted by a man with half a face mask and a question mark-shaped staff. Unhappy about the interruption, she attacks him, but he's able to dodge and deflect her energy blasts. He's then joined by a large mechanical sphere. His sphere stands for Subplasmic Hero-Elective Retribution Engine. Whatever. I have no idea what any of that means. He calls for a truce and wants to talk about the dreams. Enigma is the name that he will be known by, uses the sphere to project images of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Le Fay, who inquires why those three. Enigma states his scans show ripples of energy and instability in the universe swirling around them. Le Fay's mystic abilities can sense it as well. She is able to trace the energy not just at different points in time and space, but she can also see it in the not distant future as well with it. And she can see ripples and swirling around a home in Los Angeles. We see a young lady seated on a bed with tarot cards. One representing the past, one the present, and one the future. In the tarot cards, right in front of her, she sees these images morph into images of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Now, Enigma is not as sold on the tarot cards being all that revealing. However, Le Fay tells him that the tarot, the zodiac, alchemy, astrology, the ancients had means to chart and manipulate the fundamental forces of reality long before his physics and foolishness. She again reaches into time, seeing another vision. This one, we've got Green Arrow and his sidekick in Gotham reacting to the arrow signal. Before they can leap into action, they're stopped by familiar but unrecognizable versions of the Caped Crusader and the Boy Wonder. Another vision appears. This is a pair of monstrous creatures, Convict and Grok. They crash through a mountainside and into a cavern where our visionaries are waiting. Enigma calls out for her to shut the visions off. As someone that doesn't believe in fate, he doesn't like seeing himself in events that haven't yet happened. Le Fay conjures up yet one more. There's another great ripple, or as she calls it, a whirlpool of primal energies. In this vision, we see monumental stone statues of future versions of the Trinity. Based on this vision, Enigma admits that he thinks that they might need a third. The plan is to steal the might of the Trinity, and Le Fay agrees. Le Fay sees herself as the Wonder Woman stand-in. Enigma as the Batman, so they'll need a Superman. A powerful alien, perhaps. We first see Despero. As a barbarian, he should be very easy for them to coerce. As Enigma and Le Fay agree on the terms of their partnership, they walk away from Le Fay's magical cauldron thingy. Another vision begins to manifest. This culminates in our last splash page reveal of a massive being of fiery cosmic energy crushing the planet with his bare hands. And again, with that, we are to be continued. Bill, thoughts?
Well, I definitely like the kind of dynamic they show between, Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, Diana Prince in their, civilian identities or whatever. You can tell these three probably spend a lot of time planning together and things like that. I like how it kind of just revolves around those three versus just summon all the JLA and let's go fight the bad thing. So I do kind of like that about it.
Yeah, I between the two stories, we do get like 30 pages of story here, so you get a lot of content with this. And while the stories are very different, they do complement one another. Mm-hmm. I admittedly like the second story better than the first.
I did too.
I don't know if it's because I'm more interested in the more obscure characters, but I thought Enigma was pretty funny. He had some funny lines in that with LaFay. And again, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, for me, they've always just kind of like been there. And that's kind of how I feel that they are here as well. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not to say that it's not going to change over the course of me reading this series.
Right.
The Bagley art in the first one is gorgeous, but his art's always gorgeous. The action sequence with the Wests and Clayface, it was very brief, but it was pretty fun. I liked that. Now, one of the things I had, they ended on a cliffhanger, but it's a cliffhanger of a building falling onto Superman, and that's really not much doesn't leave me in suspense, right? It's not like, oh, I got to see what happens next. I kind of know what's going to happen, and the Superman's going to fucking fly out of the way, or he's going to like stop the building from falling. So doesn't really leave a lot there in terms of suspense. In terms of the art, it is almost unfair to compare the Bagley art to almost anyone else's. So while the art in the second, it does pale in comparison to the first, it's not necessarily bad art,
right?
But that was kind of my take on it.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else?
Just again, the second half of it, I will echo what you said. I do love the art. Bagley's always phenomenal. His art anyway. The second half of it, if that was like I know they're both parallel stories, but like I'd almost rather read a full run of just that with these obscure characters like trying to take over for Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman.
Yeah.
Than to see a story focused on Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman.
Right. I agree with that. It's like have Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman in it, but
like they're almost like the background characters.
Correct. Yeah. Like we talked about with Justice League, when we were talking about Justice League of America, I've almost always preferred Batman more as, especially in like group settings, like more as like a force of nature.
Yeah.
Or for a lack of a better term, a prop.
Yeah.
Right, and not a main focus. And so I agree with you. Like, I would much rather see more of these bad guys, and then the Trinity is kind of the supporting cast, so to speak. But then again, the name of the book wouldn't be called Trinity.
Wouldn't be Trinity. It'd be
right. It'd be something else. So I agree with you there. In terms of what came next, I'm not going to get into a lot here because it's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I will say this series ran weekly for a year. I wish DC would bring back a weekly series like this or like 52 because I really, really enjoy those. And I don't mind getting comics every week versus monthly. That's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much to say about it otherwise. I mean, they've got numerous titles that have been run forever and are still continuing to run. With this, just based on what you read here, would you have bought the next issue, at least read the next issue, skip it?
I would have at least read the next issue. I probably, depending on where the second part of the story went with the second issue, I probably would have bought the third.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I did buy all of these. I'm reading them and I'm enjoying it so far. So it's not bad, but I got a lot of faith in the writing team. I mean, they've both been a couple of my kind of
the writing and it's
favorite
really
writers over the course of the decades. Yeah. So solid team on everything here. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm going to keep going with it. So, and you guys should too. Be sure to check out Trinity. Be sure to check us out. Facebook, YouTube. Check out Field of Geeks Network. Special thanks to the Field of Geeks Network for making this happen. But yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Special thanks to Raven X for the theme music. For Bill, I'm Jonah. Take care.